Okay, so we're going to jump right in, and I'll do a little bit of welcoming in a second. I'm just looking at some papers here that I picked out for my sister. She likes stuff like pink and gold and browns and things, so I picked out a few papers, and these are some of my random art pages. Of course, you know when I make these, I pick every single kind of paper I can, and I can list everything that I used down in the bottom if you want a list of everything. I don't remember where all the paper pads came from, though. So I skipped ahead a little bit because there was a bunch of snafus during this process. Right now I am taking some tracing paper and I'm making a little envelope. I decided to add envelopes in with the pages so that I could make these little kind of goodie bags. And the first envelope I made didn't turn out very well, and there was this like whole probably 20 minutes of me just pulling paper out of pads because I can't get that kind of paper in stacks or anything like that. So I started cutting some little bits and pieces out. Some of them were to go as embellishments, and some of them were just going to go in the little goodie bags so that my sister could have some of the things to work with that would go with the papers and in the colors that she likes. And so I made them all a little bit differently. I've been having problems with glue lately, so I think that it ended up working okay for that, though that stick glue. Even though it's kind of massive, I probably should have gotten a smaller one. And this is the first envelope that I made like this. I usually make my envelopes out of paper, but I really wanted them to be clear so that you could see everything that was in them, especially since I was like cutting out these little pieces to put in there. And I ended up cutting a few cute ones. My sister's really into makeup, and she was always talking about like lashes, and she loves strawberries, so this is like the perfect thing for her. I don't think there's quite enough pink in it for her, though. I think she does like the mint color, and I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm probably just wandering around, trying to find my ass. So my sister's actually staying with me right now. Oh yeah, washi tapes. So she's staying with me right now, and so my mom asked me to make her a scrapbook, and I was like, you don't actually make scrapbooks. You just kind of buy them and then stick scrapbook pages in them. And I think she meant an art journal like mine. Only my sister's not really like me. All my stuff is very abstract. And I just don't think that that's what she's into. So I decided to make hers kind of pretty. And what I also decided to do is make her several small journals that she can slide in and out. So this will be part 1. Part 2 will actually be the cover and everything. I'm going to go ahead and buy a stapler just to staple these together, because I ended up making her 5 books, I think, or 5 what would normally be signatures, but these are going to be little notebooks. And I'm so sorry about my nails. I actually used the last of my money to get my sister's nails done the other day. She needed a new set, and my mom she was in the hospital. She had a surgery on her hip, and so I've just been kind of using all my money to take care of my sister this past week while she's been here, and kind of let my nails fall by the wayside. But I did get them fixed. Actually, I had an accident this morning, and I sliced off part of my real nail into my like nail bed, which has never happened before. So I'm dealing with like a whole new different type of pain today. But thankfully I got it fixed so you can't see it. And the second part of this video, hopefully I won't have crazy nails. So here I am making a second little envelope, and as you can tell, I like to take these little plastic pieces and just put little pieces of washi tape on there that kind of match either what I've been using or what goes with the paper. And there's the culprit, actually. There's the X-Acto knife. And the issue is I was using my left hand for something, and I was trying to get leverage, and it's just a bad idea. Just don't do that. Don't even think about it. It's pretty bad. So things have been pretty crazy lately. If you haven't noticed, I have not been streaming on YouTube, and the reason for that is actually completely lost on me. They've disabled my streaming ability, and somebody from Restream told me that it might be because I've done live streams before where maybe I've pulled up a YouTube video and like commented on it or something, and I guess they have rules against that, and that's like good and fine. But what happens when you try to appeal live streaming, because it's like still in beta, there's not really support for just live streaming, and I have sent them support tickets like 10 times, and the only thing that I get back is, oh, you're still able to upload, you should be fine. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't help me at all, but thank you. And it doesn't matter how thorough the email is that I send them, I get the same message back. So it's just an automated message. Nobody's even checking to see. One thing I did mention during my stream is this really gave me a chance to use some of the lovely washi tapes that I bought from AliExpress. I think there's 2 of them on that little sheet right there. No, there's 4. Those little bitty ones are from AliExpress, and also the watercolor one, and the one with the flowers. And these are ones that I bought that aren't really my style at all, but they were just so pretty. I thought they were awesome. And here's me, I'm just like looking for the right tape to put on there. There we go. I'm like, okay, I made some envelopes now. And then I was like, you know what, I'm really into envelopes today. And I think I ended up making another one. And I got my hole punch out for the first time. And I wouldn't say I was bummed out, because I bought my Cricut so that I could make circles, basically, because that's how lazy I am. I wanted it to also make stencils, but really it was to make circles, because I'm just terrible at making circles. And here I am, I'm going to start folding the signatures now. And so Brandon's mom actually bought me that circle cutter and another one, and they're so expensive. They're like $16 a piece. And I had them on my wish list, and I guess he told her to go to my wish list for Christmas. And I felt really bad, because I thought, oh, I'm never going to use that now that I have my Cricut. But then I didn't even think about stuff like this. And honestly, I probably could have just made a complete, envelope with the Cricut. But I'm just such a hands-on person that it didn't even occur to me to do that. I have made some stencils with it, which is nice, out of Yupo paper, which maybe I can do a video about that later. It turned out really good. So here's where I was kind of deciding what papers to use, and I can talk a little bit more about the papers that I use now. It's not so fast. I used a marker paper, a graphics, design sheet paper from Biefang. Is that Biefang? Biefang? It's a German company, I think. They make a lot of paper in Germany. I ended up using some Strathmore sketch paper, some sketch paper from Walmart that I actually like. It's really smooth, and it's nice to work with. I got some marker paper from Canson, and some of the black paper from Canson that I think people use pastels with, but I want to kind of use a little bit of my gel pens, which I really don't ever use. I think the other paper that I got that I ended up using was maybe that was it actually. Oh yeah, tracing paper. There's some tracing paper in there. And, oh yeah, there's a piece of paper in there I ended up trimming down, and I cut off the girl's head, and I actually liked it a little bit better at the end. So I started making these little signatures, thinking I would turn it into a book. And as I made them, I realized that because I was using these decorative pages as the outside, that it would actually each one would make its own little book nicely, so that if she wanted to just have a small travel book, unlike me with my big clunky, journal, she could have a small travel book to take with her, and she could do some art journaling in it. And then if she wanted to switch out, if she felt like a different mood or something, she should be able to slide it out. So my idea is I want to just make one that has the ability to slide it out from the middle, and then I'll give her a little piece of that plastic that I use for everything. Those cutting boards are amazing. So that she can put it, behind her book and draw on it. It helps with texture and everything. Here I am digging through my paper some more, and I have so many decorative papers, and I think this is the only thing I use them for. I try to use them in collage work, but they end up distracting me. My own patterns don't distract me, but for some reason, these really decorative papers, I just get lost looking at them, and I don't want to cover them up. Oh yeah, that one. I love that one. So that ended up being one of the covers. So here I am, just dicking around with paper some more. Excuse my language. I got some lace one. And I'm making some more signatures. And I think this is about the time I decided I started thinking about making tags and all that stuff people do for junk journaling. And I didn't want to make it too much of a junk journal, but I did decide to make some more elements for it. This is also around the point where I started talking about how I didn't want to make this like my mixed media journals, where I'm doing a little bit of artwork, or I'm putting a little bit of stuff in there to bounce off of. I want everything to be hers only. I did make one page where I added a little bit of my own embellishments, which you'll see in a little bit, but other than that, I really left it very plain. I left it very plain and very decorative, which is super unlike me. But I'm trying to break out of my mold a little bit and do something that I think she would like. So right about now I have, if you hear that sound, it's Scotty. He's next to me rubbing his face all over everything. I had the door closed but not locked, and he can open it, so he's looking at me now, and he just really wants me to pet him. He's going to make some really loud noises, so this is going to make it hard. Anyway, I started digging through my papers again, and I ended up finding this one book of papers that I really love, but there's a few sheets in there that it's just not my thing. And all these papers come with all this like stuff with like words on it, and the words and just like gold is not my thing. But I thought that would be a pretty book cover, and it was really sturdy. Hi, Scotty. He's like going to rub on my microphone in a second. Anyway, I decided to make one more signature, so this became the 5th one. And Scotty, come on, buddy. This became the 5th signature, and I like the gold. It's like it goes with everything else, but it's not really my style. I'm gonna have to lock him out of here. But it is very pretty. There's some really gorgeous like peacocks and teals and dark blues and things like that. So here I am making another little envelope, and Scotty's gonna knock my drink over. I'm just gonna hold him, and then he'll go away. Okay, come here. All right, so making a little envelope. I had gotten kind of good at it at this point. I had figured out like what I needed to do, where I needed to put the glue, all that kind of stuff. And for this one, I think I dug out even a few different tapes, and I ended up giving her extra tape because there were so many colors that I just really liked. And I was actually telling the audience during this part, I was like, I love all these colors, but man, all of that stuff is all the same like color tones, and it's just so similar. And I'm just not into all the sentimental stuff. I'm sure she likes it though, so at least I hope she does. And she actually came in while I was streaming, and I showed it to her, but she was so tired that she just didn't care at all. She's like, okay, yeah, I like it, bye. I think she was gonna go back to sleep, but she ended up watching some American Horror Story. Anyway, so I'm picking out some more tapes, and I had all these like beautiful red and like deep like wine colors tapes that I had a whole bunch of them, so I just decided to use those. And there's another one of my Japanese ones. And so here I am. I found this tape is actually really pretty, and is like it said, "You're capable and amazing." And I think that's one of the ones that comes from Michael's. And I thought that was really like awesome. And I had never noticed it before. It was interesting because I normally, when anything has words on it, I just ignore the words, and I kind of use it as background. And that was the first time I actually noticed what something was saying, and I thought that was really nice. It's interesting because originally when I did this stream, I didn't plan on actually using this part of the video, because I did an art journal entry. But you know what? I thought it'd be kind of nice for people to see some of the stuff that I do that's not the same as the other stuff. I think I did a video similar to this about making Happy Mail, but it wasn't quite like this. And so but I would talk a little bit about the situation here with my mom. This is actually her 3rd surgery on the same hip, and she's going to be staying in a home for 60 days. And it ends up she's just down the street from my house, and I'm just showing everybody my mess here so they can see everything that's going on. I'm just deciding like placement and stuff. But yeah, she's just going to be down the street from my house so that I can get to her if need be. Only she's already kind of, I wouldn't say she's taking advantage of that, because like if you don't know me very well, I have actually some pretty severe agoraphobia, and I don't really leave my house, and I've already been there like 3 times this week and getting my sister and everything. So I'm like at negative spoons, if you know the spoon theory. Like I just don't have anything left. And a couple of days ago I got sick, and then I sliced my fingernail off today, and I normally get a day off of work, but because it's a special night of the month, I actually don't get tonight off. So I will have been working for like 2 weeks straight, I think, by the time. Actually, that's not completely true. I did have most of the night off the other night when I was sick, but I did end up still working a little bit and staying around because once I got to my chair, I couldn't get out of it. This is kind of sad. So I'm making some tags now. It's so funny. I went through all this process of like making these tags and like fixing it so that I had the right size, and then it turned out it's totally wonky. You can see it. I've thought a few times about getting that puncher to make tags, but the truth is I really don't even use them. I did that whole series of, somebody asked me to make gift tags, and I made that whole series of tags, of mixed media tags, and I didn't sell any of them, even though I was asked to do them. And then I went ahead and did a poll, and I didn't sell any of them. And I think I was selling them pretty cheap. It was like $25 for 5 of them, and they were big. They were like big tags, reusable. I ended up giving them to people for Christmas, like, putting them on gifts, and people really liked them. So I guess that worked out for me. I didn't have to really do much Christmas stuff. I just gave people my crappy mixed media tags, even though nobody understands mixed media that I know. So to them, it's like really weird. And it's even weirder to them to see me like make anything decorative. So they're just like, what is this? They're so confused. So I had all these pieces because I had to cut everything down to 9 by 12, which of course ends up being a 6 by 9 for these. So I decided to make little pockets on some of them. So I had little envelopes for 3 of them, and then I decided to make pockets for some other ones. So I started adding some more pieces of cardstock. And I think this might have been the point where I had completely decided that I wasn't going to put them all together because it would be a really thick book. And I just have this thing about worrying that there's not enough paper. There's that girl's head. I forgot I cut her head off. It's so good. And I actually had a few people chatting with me, so that was nice to have some feedback on the art from people that haven't seen anything like this before or seen my stuff. So mostly they were confused, though. Everybody's always confused. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, just watch, just hang out and chat. And it doesn't really matter what I'm doing, honestly. I could explain it, but it won't make any sense because it doesn't, like trying to explain that you're making an art journal for someone and they don't even know what an art journal is, and then explaining what that is, like on top of it. Yeah. But this one person asked me if I made all these papers, and it's funny because I do like patterns if I make them. I love pattern paper, but I actually didn't. I'm more likely to make pattern paper than I am to use what I have. And that happens to me all the time where I'll start playing around with some paper and I'll hold on to it and be like, oh, I can use that as a pattern, or I can use that make that an envelope or make it a background for something, instead of just actually using all the paper I have. But I think part of it too is that I really enjoy using my papers because I like the textures of them, and I like knowing how they're going to respond to things. Even if I don't have a plan, I know that I can go, so this whole thing that I'm doing right now is just a complete mistake. And you know what? I'm just going to leave it in. You can just watch me struggle. So I decided out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? This would be cute with a little notepad. And I know how to make notepads, so why don't I do that? And I decided that I was going to try to make a notepad. And I realized that I don't have a book stapler. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just perfect bind it. And so here I am, like folding all these papers and trying to decide what I want to use. And that's just a regular piece of paper, so it's not going to work. I don't even know what I was thinking. So here I go. I'm folding all these little pieces of paper up. And this is the sketch paper I do remember, this is a sketch paper from Strathmore. So it's pretty thin. And I also realized I got this knife. I have this stupid blade, box cutter, and I bought it because it was cheap. I didn't realize it like has an automatically retracting blade, which is the worst possible thing when you're trying to like trim paper. You just want it to stay out so you can like put all your weight on it. And so now I have to like hold it forward and pull it at the same time. So here I am doing a little perfect bind with some PVA glue, some school glue actually, I think is what I used. Oh, it's close enough to PVA. It's like PVA plus a little bit of stuff, and taping it up with some washi and clipping it. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Oh yeah, I have to make a background. And so this is where it just kind of goes off the rails. I'm like, you can see me tapping my fingers like, like this one? maybe this? No, well, okay. And I think I ended up cutting that out, adding it to some brown, and it ended up working out just fine. I just didn't measure things. I didn't cut it square. I had problems with my cutter. It's just one of those things where, you don't measure anything at all and you cut it 40 times. That old adage, measure twice, cut once or whatever, and I didn't measure it. I at least scored it with a straight edge. I mean, I tried. And I even left a little bit of space. You can see here, I even left a little space for the paper. So I thought about things. I just didn't plan it out. And again, this is like, my sister's probably not even going to use this, but I just thought, I'll just make her a little notepad and okie dokie, I'll do that. You'll also notice that the background has changed. I decided to buy this mat that goes on your on metal racks, because this is the same as like a floor mat. And it's great because you can just wipe it off or whatever. It's pretty much the same as my cutting boards. But it was supposed to be gray, and it's like this kind of gross greenish color. And I ended up just putting some paper underneath it to try to help it, and it doesn't help. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll get one of those nice white silicone mats that everybody has, and it'll just be dirty all the time. Here I am. So here we go. I'm like trying to cut and cutting, and it ended up cutting through my cutting board into my brand new desk thing that I just put up there. But I had been needing a new blade for a while. Reclipping, unclipping, clipping, unclipping, sending emails, receiving emails, deleting emails. Sorry, I slipped into the IT crowd there a little bit. Adore today. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling a little bit, but things have been so crazy. It's just been really, really nuts. If you haven't joined my Discord, you really should come and hang out with me, because I posted my journal there, and all of the crazy stuff that's been going on is handled in detail, because there's some stuff I just really don't feel comfortable about talking about here, because it's that crazy. So I'm pretty sure I have a link under my YouTube videos that is set to not expire for my Discord. I'll make sure I add one on there, so you should check out my Discord. There's a bunch of artists that I love, and I'm hoping to get more people on there posting their art, and I can show you some other artists that are super awesome. I actually don't know any other mixed media artists that are also streamers. I mean, I do on YouTube, but not on like Twitch. Almost everybody makes comic book style stuff, or there's a few clay workers, and I feel like a lot of people do really comic-y stuff, which is fine. It's just, it's so far away from what I do. I don't even know of any other abstract artists, except maybe Peter. Peter draws. He does a lot of drawing that's kind of abstract. I think he's probably the only one, though, and I think he also, he has a YouTube following, so... But yeah, his stuff is great. I have actually a couple of his pieces. But here I am trying to decide what I'm going to do. So I think this is the last actual... no, this isn't the last pocket I made, because I did end up making another pocket. And I think one of them ended up getting a pocket and a little mini envelope. But I loved these colors together. It's really not my thing, but I feel like spring is infecting me a little bit. It makes my back feel better. It's not as cold. And just kind of making some little pockets and mixing things together and making them work. And this is actually the thing I really like doing. I love making pockets and envelopes and little things, like little gifts, I guess. I just like to make stuff like that. Oh, and here's I was showing people that one thing when you make pockets, if you're just going to glue them on like this, I like to put stuff in there so that I can kind of bend it. When you're using cardstock like that, you can actually get it that kind, not like the fancy kind with text and stuff on it, but like the plain like card kind. You can usually get it to bend a little bit to your will, and it'll actually stay that shape a little bit when you use a little glue. And so I like to use it for pockets for that reason. I don't like to make the big envelopes with it though, because it is really thick. It doesn't take media super well, so here I am cutting out some stuff to add in there for her and just sticking it together, putting it all together, having a good time. There we go. Yeah, alright, so her little notebook's done. It's so fashion, just like a fashion lady. I don't know. I don't know. I just bought all these paper pads that just have so much stuff. And I look at it and I'm like, I'm never going to use that. Like, what use do I have for, like, fashion lady? You know? Not me. Not me at all. But I think they look really pretty together. And I also like that they're similar in color, but they're not similar in style. So they will all go together. But they'll also be different if she wants to do different stuff with them. She's actually an art student, and she's going to the high school that I used to want to go to when I was younger. And she has a project she's working on right now, and it's funny because today she asked for help painting the lips on this lady, and I thought about it and I thought, man, I haven't painted a set of lips on somebody with acrylic paint in 20 years. Because I just do abstract work most of the time. And I realize that even though I haven't done that, I still kind of remember how to do most of that stuff. And I've drawn a couple things I'm going to be uploading later for her that have been a little more realistic. So I've actually drawn some people, but I've stylized them a little bit. So it's a little more comic booky, but definitely not me. It's still my style, my drawing style, but it's definitely not me to draw things that are, oh, there's that culprit again. I'm going to be scared of that thing now. I'd be so scared. I've never cut my fingernail off. I did lose a fingernail once, but not like this. Not like this. I love making these little side pockets. Here's me. I'm like, don't abuse that tape. Nah, I don't like it. It's too much. It's too busy. How about there? Nah. Oh, how about there? Okay, that's fine. Like, I'm just... And the worst part about it is that tape's not even going to stick. I got to go back and probably glue it all down. But I was having a good time with it, you know? I was just really getting into it. And this is like the worst vlog ever, isn't it? I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. I talk to my friends all the time, so they know what's going on. And they're in my stream, so they know what's going on because I'm always streaming for like 4 or 5 hours at least. But honestly, I don't sit and talk that often because I'm working and I'm concentrating and I'm not saying much. But I think that after I made that little notebook, the little bitty notebook, and I was folding these, I decided then I started looking on Amazon for a heavy-duty book stapler. So I'm definitely going to get one of those. I got paid today, and my furniture is finally paid off. So a few years ago, Brian and I bought some living room furniture from a place that does, deferred interest, so that if you pay it all off, you don't have to pay any interest at all. And so I actually made my last payment last month, and it's all paid off, which is amazing, because that's another bill I don't have to pay right now. And of course, taxes are coming up, and I gotta pay all that. But I guess after taxes, I might buy some Copics or something. Windows is asking me if I want to delete my previous version. Sure, why not? I don't know why I would want my previous version of Windows, but okay. Anyway, now is when I started trying to match colors to these darker papers. And what ended up happening was I ended up with the tan because I didn't want to dig through my closet to find the rest of my cardstock that I haven't opened yet, because I have every color of cardstock. Because you know how Michael's has those sales where it'll be 3 packs for the price of 1 or something. Well, I bought every pack they had just so I could have them, and I haven't opened all of them yet. And so I really wanted to kind of match the darker colors, but I also didn't want to dig through the closet because my back really is killing me. And like I said, I was sick earlier this week, so I just wanted to sit. So I just tried to grab what I could that was kind of close. And I decided this was the part where I decided to actually add a little bit of my own kind of thing to this. I made a little pocket. I shouldn't have done the hole punch though. That was kind of a bad idea, but I decided to make a little thing. And here's me. I think I just got up and I'm like, I'm going to go look for paper now because I wanted it to match a little bit better. I could probably edit this out. I don't know. It's fine. It didn't take me that long to get the paper, I guess. Thankfully, my room is small and I actually know where everything is. That's like the one thing. I have a lot of stuff and it always seems really messy in here, but I actually know where almost everything is. And when I lose something, I must have really lost it because I don't lose things. Like I actually have some methyl cellulose around here that's completely lost. It's like an entire container of it in like a Tupperware container. And I'm pretty sure my cat's like knocked it somewhere and took off with it because there's no way that I lost that. Because I keep all my glue in the same place. And I have a lot of glue. This is like glue central. If you wanted some glue, you could come in here. I have lots of like it's adhesive city in here. And it's funny because I still use white glue more than anything and like glue sticks, which is fine actually for this stuff. I've been testing a lot of glue sticks actually. If you have a good glue stick recommendation, if you're a streamer or not even a streamer, if you do art and you have a good glue stick recommendation, please tell me because every glue stick I use just falls apart. And this one that I'm using now is probably the best one I found, and it's hold on, let me look at it. It's the Scotch Create, and it's the big one. So I also have a bunch of other types of glues that I can use, and I have Yes Paste, which actually is like kind of like a liquidier version of that, but you have to smear it around. Like you have to like pull it out of a tub and smear it around. So definitely, if you have one of those types of recommendations, please let me know. I am hard up for good glue stick. And I was talking about the Tombow glue is great. It's really good glue. It's just so sticky and it gets all over everything. It always sticks to my fingers. And right about here is when I started getting annoyed at this paper book because all these dark colors were very similar. So this video will be over pretty soon because I actually got pretty close to finished with what I was going to do just for today, which was I just got all the signatures together, which actually turned out to be their own little journals, like I said. And I started putting them together. And this is about the time I think my sister actually came in, and I ended up going away. And then I was done after that. And I just put them away, and I was like, I think I'm just going to be done for the day doing this right now, because I wanted to really journal myself. I just really wanted to work in my art journal. So that'll actually be my next video of rambling. More than likely, and I did grab some wire because I was thinking about clipping some little things in. Oh yeah, I did end up grabbing a few things to add in. Grab some tags and put them in there. And I don't know that my sister actually knows much about art journaling, so I may have to she's seen my journal, so she probably knows a little bit. And I think they do journaling at her school because she does go to an art school, so I think they do a little bit of that, but not a whole lot. Honestly, I don't mind what she does with it as long as she enjoys it. Anyway, this video is about to be over, so I hope everybody is having a wonderful weekend, and I'll get this uploaded, and I'll get the next one taken care of, and there'll be more rambling, and thank you for putting up with my stuff. I really appreciate it.